Do you ever feel like everyone is getting more views than you? You put a lot of work into your content and then it gets a grand total of 9 views. And then you see this guy making pickle Pepsi and it gets millions of views. Like, really, how did this video get 9 million views? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you 3 things that you need to finally start getting the views that you deserve. Let's get started. All right, so I want to start with a little bit of a sad story. If you've ever done this, I think you'll be able to understand how I felt. So I've been running this channel for quite a while, and early on, we were struggling to get views. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure this out. I'm like, I know what the missing piece is here. We need to edit our videos more. So I put my editing pants on. Just kidding, they're my normal pants. And I got started. 6 hours later, and I'm like, this is my best work. This is finally gonna put us on the map. So I hit upload and I was patiently waiting. And I'm sad to say, after it was all said and done, this video did not put us on the map. In fact, it made me feel more bad about myself because it got a grand total of 87 views. At that point, I'm like, okay, obviously that didn't work. So I went back to the drawing board. Then fast forward to us being on YouTube longer, and I had a very different experience that finally helped me understand what really impacts your views. So we had a video that took me 45 minutes to edit, and instead of 87 views, here was the result, which was a night and day difference. So the question is, what really made the difference? And I have another example that helped us figure this out. So we posted a video that we thought was pretty good. It was another one of the 45-minute edits. And then after a day, it had 200 views, which was not bad, especially when you were used to getting like 60 views after an entire week. But I thought this video had more potential, so I changed the title and thumbnail. I made the title more clickable, and I also removed our pastor's face from the thumbnail, because in the grand world of YouTube, no one really knew who he was. And to my surprise, within an hour, it jumped to 1,500 views. And if that wasn't good enough, the video is now at 630,000 views just by changing the title and thumbnail. And that's the crazy part about YouTube is you can have content that a lot of people like, but if you don't have a clickable title and thumbnail, those people will never see it. Then we ran one more experiment and it showed me one more piece of the puzzle. So one of the guys that works for the church is named Chris. And Chris is super into Christian rap music. And there's a rapper named NF that was going to be releasing an album after 2 years of not really doing anything. So this was a big deal. And Chris, being a fan of his, knew that there was a kind of content that performed really well on YouTube. And that was music reaction content. So Chris got together with our lead pastor, and then the two of them made a reaction video as soon as the new album released. To our surprise, within a couple days, the video had over 100,000 views, which was great. But we noticed something in the analytics. We looked at our retention graph, which is basically where you can see what percentage of people are still watching at any given time. Now, our plan with these videos was Chris and Brett would go back and forth reacting and watching. And at the end, they would just give a few minutes of their thoughts overall, kind of what they thought about the video. But when we looked at the retention graph, we saw a big drop off at the end, right when the music video was done and it was time to give their thoughts. So apparently, once the music video was actually over, nobody cared what we had to say, which kind of made sense because these were 100,000 people that didn't know who we were yet. But what I learned through all these experiments is that you need a clickable title and thumbnail, but you also need to keep people watching. And this retention graph is a great place for that. And there's 2 things I like to look at so you can get a good gauge if you're keeping people watching or not. One, what is the retention at the first 30 seconds? This is where you're gonna see the most drop off, but you wanna keep it to at least 55 to 75% of people still watching. Then just look at the entire graph overall. Are you losing interest over time? YouTube is basically a get them to click and then get them to watch platform. And if you can do that, you'll be well on your way to getting more views on YouTube. And this was the case for us. Once we learned it, we hit our first $10,000 month on YouTube. And in this video, I break down our whole journey and show you how long it actually takes to get there.